Welcome to Guided Abroad, where I bring you in on the intuitive downloads, bold decisions, and vulnerable moments that unfold when Spirit takes the lead. This is my personal story, but it could be yours too, because we all have the ability to receive and follow inner guidance. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. What happens when your ancestors call you back to the land they fought over for generations? In this episode, I share the stunning mystical journey into the Sahara Desert to answer this call, how it healed the past, and how it expanded my spirit team. Let's dive in.
I am in Marrakesh, Morocco, and over the last several days, I have been to the Sahara Desert and back. If you've been following along, you know that I've been guided to be here and that this is a healing of family lineages that goes back to ancient times. This trip into the Sahara is the most important part of my time here because it is the returning of my bloodline to these lands. So what I understand both from the guided transmissions and then also from my own past life regressions and from other seers who have looked into my past lives is that my mother's side and my father's side, deep in our lineage, fought each other extensively for generations over land and territorial rights in the Moroccan Sahara. And if you look at my DNA, you'll see that I do have that validation as well of DNA history in the North African area. The beauty of this opportunity is that I am the physical manifestation of these two lineages coming together in love to create this human being. And with this human being returning to the land, it returns and allows the release of all those generations of suffering. Before I arrived here, I did a healing session that went back to these wars. And I stood on the battlefield and I felt the despair of my ancient relatives. I felt the losses that the families were experiencing on both sides. I know how deep this goes. But I am the love product from these lineages. I am the place where they come together into one. And so my return is this opportunity to heal what has happened before. As we embarked on the trip, we take 2 days traveling to this edge of the Sahara. And I prepared on the overnight by doing some energy grounding at the hotel that we were at, outside in the courtyard, feet on the ground in meditation, and welcoming myself to the land and doing an attunement between me and the land so that our energies could expand and open up to each other. And then upon arrival in the Sahara, after the camel rides, which, by the way, is not very comfortable. I have a lot of appreciation now for how hard it must be to live in the desert if you're still riding on camels. That is really not comfortable. And it's incredibly smelly too. That's something I didn't expect quite so much. So in the evening though, I did some moonlight meditations and welcomed the ancestors in, did an energy clearing. And what was really beautiful about this was that I felt my spirit team expand. And I always find that to be an important marker of growth and transformation. A few years ago, I was only feeling 1 or 2 guides. And then over time, that expanded to a team of guides, but they were far behind me. In the way that I sensed them behind me. Then as I started to do work with clients in the psychic and spiritual realm, they became arm in arm with me. That same team lined up arm in arm like we were a unit together. That was a huge gain. And then this week, when I went into the Sahara, we were arm in arm as I started, and then as I did the work with the energy of the earth that we were on, the land energy, I felt Behind me, in kind of a triangular shape, all of the ancestors from the nomadic tribes fill in. And in front of them, because it's nearer in time, are the Viking ancestors that I've also visited with in other scenarios we can talk about some other time. But to feel all of those nomads show up with their unique skill sets that I was not aware of before and didn't have access to before, I now have a larger team actively engaged with me in a way that I can sense. And that's going to guide me even better with my intuition and with decision making going forward. There is something really beautiful about the desert and makes me think of a Salvador Dali painting. There is such an impermanence to it. You can tell that anything that happens there will be gone soon. Even the dunes themselves may be in a different location. And it is harsh, right? It was 45 miles per hour wind gusts while we were on the camel ride into camp. And the scarf that I had around my head, I could wrap around my neck as well, but I couldn't cover my eyes and my face fully, or I wouldn't know where I was going. And that sand was incredibly painful. And I came back with a rash and like irritation on my skin, in addition to the intense sun, which we were lucky was a little cloudy, and it's May, so it's not August or September. It was beautiful in the desert. I don't think I'll ever forget it. As I returned back to Marrakesh, almost said returned back to civilization, I feel my energy is highly uplifted now. And when I test in, let me just check in right now. Is my work here complete? It is not 100% complete. I'd put it at 90%, which is interesting because it was 80% complete before I even arrived because of the pre-work I had done back home. Now we're at 90%. You know, it's always those last few percentages that make it hard. So let me ask this question to the guides. Is it just a matter of integration? Yes. So we need to allow, so I'm doing this recording the day after I returned late last night, and we need some time for integration, which is, if you're experienced in the energy space, makes total sense. Most things take several days after they've occurred, sometimes up to several weeks to fully integrate into your system. We'll expect more to unfold as I move forward into the next several days. I want to encourage you to check in on your spirit team. I like to call them my formless board of directors. They always say in business and in leadership that we should each have a personal board of directors. And this is mine. This is my formless board of directors. And they're incredibly powerful. And they can answer a wide range of questions for you. And their ranks will expand when you have the capacity to take in more from them. When have you felt your team change? If you're not already monitoring that, begin to check in and sense them and notice.
You've been listening to Guided Abroad with me, Sarah Cook, where spirit and intuition lead the way. Did something in today's episode spark your curiosity or resonate deeply? I'd love to hear about it. And your story or question might even shape a future episode. Links are on the show page. And subscribe so you won't miss what happens next. You know, it's easy to feel alone on the spiritual journey. I'm so glad that we have each other. Thanks for being here.